everyone. This is Ahmed Waisha, AHMEDEWAISHA, and I'm a member of this coalition here that is represented by 4 distinct organizations here in Arizona, MassLib, as well as Abandon Biden, as well as the APSA, which is the Arizona Palestinian Solidarity Alliance, and the Young Democrats of Arizona. Today is the 20th of March, 2024, and we are gathered here after the presidential preference election that took place yesterday here in Arizona. And we would like to make a message to the entire Arizona community, as well as in particular to the Biden administration regarding the results and our analysis of these results. We're here in front of the Maricopa County Records Office, where the votes of the presidential primary election were counted. The PPE results show that the Biden administration has lost Arizona. I repeat again, Biden has lost Arizona. And that is based on our analysis because in the 2020 presidential election, Biden had a slim winning margin of 10,457 votes here in Arizona. And thus the results of yesterday's presidential preference election demonstrates that Biden will not win Arizona's general election in this year. Community groups have come together, and the main reason is we want to issue a warning and declare a state of emergency for the state of Arizona, because our democracy, we believe that our democracy is under attack. It is under attack by a system that refuses to listen to the issues that matter most to our communities. And today, you'll hear from the community groups who have been outspoken during this election, demanding the attention of the candidates and the elected officials. So our first speaker is Ahmed Wali, and he's with Mass Liberation of Arizona.
Thank you. My name is Ahmed Wali, AHMEDWALI, and I'm an organizer with Mass Liberation Arizona. Mass Liberation Arizona is a Black liberation-focused, directly impacted-led, and political organization holding elected officials accountable in the state of Arizona. We are here today because there is a crisis in our democracy. We are locked in a two-party system that refuses to put forward candidates who represent these issues critical to the survival of our community. Issues like genocide, climate change, healthcare, and housing are matters of life or death. And because these issues have been ignored by elected officials, our community has responded by protesting. But not only were our protests ignored, they've been criminalized and weaponized against us. Today, with the election results of the presidential primary, our protests can no longer be ignored. Arizona protesters have protested with their votes, demanding that politicians take notice of the crisis we are currently in. The result of this primary election shows that while Biden may have collected the majority of votes, he has most definitely lost his 2020 victory margin in Arizona. And these election results are only a preview of what will happen in the general election this November. It's a preview not only of the presidential race, but a preview in every single election down the ballot. Voters will see to it that candidates who ignore our issues will lose. In the case of Biden, he has lost his winning margin in Arizona because he sold out U.S. voters to a federal government or a foreign government to bankroll a genocide. No matter how much we have called on him to listen, he has refused. And it has cost him Arizona, as our previous speaker mentioned. It also cost him Michigan, Washington, North Carolina, Minnesota, Hawaii, and Georgia. That means it cost him the presidency. This two-party system is a failure, It is not designed to hold politicians accountable to carry out the will of the people. In fact, it's designed in a way to prevent accountability. And now, with a growing number of voters who refuse to be bullied into voting blue no matter who, or the lesser of two evils, the system has reached its tipping point. Without a mechanism for accountability, our democracy will collapse. This is an emergency. If politicians think they can skate through these elections, ignoring the communities that are charged with selecting them, they're sorely mistaken. To all political candidates, take the warning Biden didn't take. It's too late for him. We cannot hand over the elected seats we fought so hard to win. We refuse to vote blue no matter who when the lesser of two evils is genocide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ahmed, from Mass Lib, Arizona. And next is Hudayfa Shkhairat, and he's with the Abandon Biden campaign in Arizona.
My name is Hudayfa Shkhairat from the Abandon Biden movement. Coming into the Arizona Democratic presidential primary, our goal was very simple and our call was very simple. Anyone but Biden. We called on people to come out and vote for anyone but Biden, and our call was answered because our goal was to cover the margin of 10,000 votes that President Biden won in 2020 with. And in last night's primary, 41,000 voters came out against an incumbent and voted against Biden. As I said before, the Muslim American community spans 109,000 individuals within the state of Arizona. By conservative estimates, extremely conservative estimates, 1/3 of those are voters. Meaning you have, by conservative estimates, 40,000 Muslim voters. And according to our internal polling, 97% of those who've said they will not be voting for Biden in 2024. Like I said before, this is not, as some political DNC consultants have labeled it, a temper tantrum. Our resolve and our commitment is greater than the condescension and the dismissal we have faced. We are not children to be placated by hollow words and empty promises. President Joe Biden chose the hill that he wants to die on, and we have chosen ours, and we have decided to make him a one-term president. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hudayfa, with Abandon Biden. Next is Ricard Serna, and he's the president of the Young Democrats of Arizona.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ricardo Serna, he, him, they pronouns, and I'm the president of the Maricopa County Young Democrats, the largest Young Democrats chapter here in the state of Arizona with over 250 members valley-wide. We are also one of the largest Young Democrats organization around the country. And while, and we're here today because we stand in solidarity with the community groups you see here today, and we may not see eye to eye on every single point, but something that we do agree on is that we're in a state of emergency right now. Today I stand before you not only in my capacity as a leader, but also a voice for countless young Democrats and progressive voters across our state. Our message is clear and resolute. We demand an immediate and permanent ceasefire. As we tirelessly organized for democratic victories in November, it's evident that the foremost concern among our peers is the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The support of our country in this conflict sickens our generation. We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering in Gaza. Therefore, it is imperative for the Biden administration to change course swiftly. The risk of discontent growing among voters is palpable, and we cannot afford to ignore it. The outcome of this election could shape the future of our democracy. As stated before, let's not forget the alarming statistics from last night's election here in Arizona. Over 40,000 voters rallied against the status quo, in a clear sign that change is demanded. The stakes are too high and the time is of the essence. Failure to act decisively risks undoing all of the progress we've made in turning Arizona into a battleground state. Mr. President, the power to safeguard our democracy and save lives lies in your hands. Will you heed our call? Will you gamble with the future of our nation? We continue to commit to our mission of turning Arizona blue, but we implore Washington to stand with us. The path to victory lies in securing a permanent ceasefire. Let's not squander this opportunity to make meaningful change and uphold the values and compassions of justice. Please, Mr. President, enact the ceasefire. Do everything that you can to stop the suffering of the Palestinian people in Gaza. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ricardo Serna with the Young Democrats of Arizona. Next is Jim Weishart, and he's with the Arizona Palestine Solidarity Alliance.
Hello, I'm Jim Weishart. That is JimWishart with Arizona Palestine Solidarity Alliance. Now, just to reiterate why we are here, we are declaring a state of emergency. Now, what does that mean? Our democracy is in a state of emergency. When our voices as people, as constituents who are living under these elected officials that are supposed to represent us, when our voices are consistently suppressed and not heard, when we protest, when we call relentlessly, when we flood inboxes of our elected officials with letters, when we go to their offices and sit in, we are ignored routinely. But what is not ignored are the interests of the Israeli state that is committing a genocide against Palestinians who are facing starvation by the millions. We demand that our elected officials listen to us and they understand this crisis that we are in. We've seen systems around the world collapse under less pressure. This is a focal point for us to consider. Now, it's not just at the executive level with the current president where our interests are being handed over to those of Zionism. From our municipal governments and city elected officials all the way up to the highest office in the land, our voices are routinely being ignored. This is something that deserves action now. So we're not going to forget this moment. We were well aware yesterday for the primary, but when November comes around, the people who stand with Palestine, not just in the United States, but indeed the entire world, we are going to remember. So the demand is, hear our call, politicians, or expect to be removed. So we are launching a petition. We're launching a petition to make visible the number of people in Arizona who will no longer be ignored. Voters are taking a pledge to show their support for Palestine by refusing to support a politician that is complicit or enacting genocide. No more. We currently have over 2,000 signatures and counting. So again, this is a state of emergency for our democracy. And our demand is, heed our call, politicians, or expect to be removed.
Thank you very much, Jim. And so as we can see, there are, even though with the diversity that we are having among the members of this coalition, we still have a single message, a common message that we are sharing, which is our request from our elected officials to listen to us. Or otherwise, as you can see, the tests from our member of organizations of this coalition.